In this video, I'm going to talk about 11 ways to ensure that you fail at property investment. Hi everyone, my name is Scott McPherson and I'm a co-owner of Think Property, which is a deal packaging business. Now, I'm making this video because I saw a talk by Charlie Monger, and essentially what he talks about is inverse thinking. So for example, let's just say you wanted to figure out how to make a successful business and you don't know how to figure it out. The best thing that you would do is figure out how would you destroy your business and list all of the things that you would do wrong in order to destroy it and then inverse it. Because as humans, we're evolved to figure out what the problems are in our environment. That's what we're evolved to do. So what we're doing is using that ability and transferring it over to property investment. So I'm just going to get started with the first one, which is don't build relationships with estate agents. You do not want to have a good relationship with estate agents because, tell you what, if you do, they'll end up just sending you properties. And if you want to fail at property investment, then you don't want that to happen. The second one is don't go on any viewings whatsoever at all throughout your whole property career, especially at the start, because you do not want to go to a property viewing and actually learn what's going on at the property itself and seeing all these things, right? The last thing you want to do is that. So make sure you do not go on any property viewings throughout your whole career. The third one is don't pre-qualify properties, right? Because you just don't want to make sure that it's a good investment before you go. The best thing to do is just completely waste your time and go to these viewings without having any idea if it's a good investment. Because what we love to do, if we want to fail, is just hope for the best. Just put our fingers in the air and just see where the wind takes us. Number 4, do not go to networking events, right? Because if you end up building a network and getting some connections, they might end up bringing you some properties or helping you with your build teams, your refurbs and stuff like that. And you definitely don't want that to happen. So if you make sure that you stay in your own little box, just don't go to any property networking events and don't meet anyone new, then I can guarantee you'll fail. Number 5 is have absolutely no contingencies whatsoever. Projects always finish on time. They never go over budget. They never go on longer than expected. That is the truth. I can't even say this. Yeah. I just know someone's going to clip this and take it so far out of context. Yeah, so when it comes to contingencies, always make sure that you have enough money just for the right amount of time, right? You do not want to prepare for things going wrong. They will always go right. That is definitely the truth. Right, pull it together. Number 6, do not be conservative with the figures, right? The figures are always going to be bang on. Let's just expect the highest rents, right? Let's just expect the highest end value because that's what you want, right? I mean, let's get emotional about this. I think that you want the best high-end value, you want the best rents possible because ultimately our goal is to fail, right? We're trying to figure out what to do wrong here and we want to achieve that goal. So I think that if you're not conservative with your figures, you're going to achieve that goal pretty fucking fast. And number 7 is don't tell people what you are looking for because everyone can read your mind. Don't put it on social media. Don't tell anyone in your friends and family groups or anything like that. Keep it all to yourself, right? That way they'll read your mind and they'll know exactly what you want. Number 8 is don't educate yourself. You are born knowing this, right? It is pointless doing education. Just go in and you'll know it straight away. You're going to know everything, right? So I think if you don't know it, just guess. That's the best way of doing it. Guess your way through this and I can guarantee that'll help you towards your ultimate goal of failing in property. And number 9 is avoid hardship and always know what you're doing. You are always going to know what you're doing. You are going to be the smartest person in the room, of every room. That is the goal. You want to be the smartest person, no room for growth. So always know what you're doing and always avoid hardship because when things get hard, it's time to quit, right? So yeah, just make sure that when things get difficult, you quit. And you always want to be the smartest person in the room. You always want to know what you're doing and just avoid any kind of growth whatsoever. I'm telling you, this will help you achieve that goal of failing. Number 10 is one of my favorites. You must expect to get rich quick. Okay, you must expect that. Expect that you're going to quit your job in the next couple of months because that expectation is going to fuel you, right? It's going to fuel you to failure. This sounds so bad. You must expect that you're going to quit your job in the next couple of months. You're going to buy that Lamborghini in the next couple of months. You're going to be way up there whilst everyone else is away down here. And after all, expectations definitely don't lead to disappointment. If you're always expecting things to happen, you're never going to be disappointed, right? So I think when it comes to ensuring that you fail, you must expect that it's all going to happen like that. And you will be in Dubai on your yacht in the next couple of months. Definitely. And the last but not least, it's do not learn from your mistakes. When you make a mistake, double down on it. Make that mistake again. Triple down on it. I don't care. If you see someone else make a mistake, do that same mistake that they done. At all costs, avoid learning from your mistakes, right? Because if you end up learning from your mistakes, you might actually get better, right? You might actually see some progress and you just might succeed. And we do not want that happening. So when you make your mistake, write it down, write exactly how you done it, put it on your wall, and do that same thing multiple times. So now it's time to inverse it, because as you can see, it's actually really, it took me 5 minutes to come up with that list. It's so easy to come up with a list of things not to do. So what we're going to do now is inverse it. So the first one was build relationships with estate agents. So building relationships with estate agents is obviously going to help you. They'll bring you opportunities maybe just before they come on the market, or they could have a deal that falls through and then they just call you up and be like, look, this one just fell through today. This person's pretty motivated, so I think you should get on this one. These little tips from the estate agents are definitely going to help you progress in your career in property. So building those solid relationships with them is extremely important. The next one was going on viewings. Now, obviously you don't have to view every property that you buy. I know a lot of people that don't view properties that they want to buy, right? And they do end up buying them and they end up working. However, if you're at the start of your journey, viewing properties is not just about buying the property, it's gaining that experience. You might go to a property that has like mold in a certain place and you didn't realize it could happen there, and then you can take that onto the next property, and then when you go to the next property, you might see something that you didn't realize was a thing, and then you take that onto the next property. After a few viewings, you've got this arsenal of information that you know that when it comes to assessing the property or analyzing them, you're like, I saw this, 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 and this. This is how much it's going to cost, and this is how much I can offer. So viewing properties is not just about buying them, it's about all the experience that you gain from them. And it also connects to building relationships with agents, because when you're at a viewing, you can ask them, look, have you got anything similar to this on the market or coming up to the market? And they could be like, look, yeah, we've got something coming on next week that's just like this, just down the road. And look at that, you just got a lead. So I definitely think that viewing properties is important. The third one was pre-qualifying properties. So before you go and view a property, you analyze it initially and you just see if the property works just off an initial analysis. Now this is a great filter, because if you see something on Rightmove and you're like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, and it's ticking the visual boxes that you're just seeing on the listing, but you don't carry out your analysis before you go, then you could go to loads of viewings and just waste your time, waste estate agents' time, vendors' time, and it's just pointless. So carrying out pre-qualification of a property, see if it ticks all your investment criteria, is extremely important, not just on a time and efficiency basis, but also the relationship side of things as well, because you don't want to waste anyone else's time. The fourth one was going to networking events. Now when it comes to going to networking events, I scream from the rooftops when it comes to these things. I absolutely love them, and I think I'll always go to them. However, at the start of my journey, these played an extremely important role. Like I didn't know anyone, so going to these networking events, it literally helped me build my network, and I ended up making some lifelong friends. I met my business partner there. We met our mentor through networking. I can probably say that 90 or so percent of the people I've met down here are just through networking events. It's actually insane. So if you're at the start of your journey or middle of your journey, if you go to networking events, you're at least going to learn something from the speakers, but you also might make friends. You might be able to meet a builder, architect, mortgage broker, solicitor, anyone. It'll definitely help you in your career. Now, number 5 was having contingencies, and these are obviously extremely important. I just made a video about it if you want to check it out. But I will say that when it comes to, say, having a refurb and you have a 10% contingency, or you prepare for, say, a 9-month refurb instead of a 6-month refurb, having those contingencies are basically like a safety net. It's essentially like a plan B. It's like, let's prepare for the worst case scenario. So if you do that and the numbers still work, then the deal will have a very strong fighting chance of working overall. It'll definitely help you in your property career, because you'll have a lot less deals that go wrong, a lot more deals that go right. Number 6 was don't be conservative with the figures. Obviously you want to be conservative with these things. You don't want to expect the higher rents. You don't want to expect the higher end value. If you expect the worst and hope for the best, then you'll be fine, because if your deal still stacks when it's bad, or let's say the worst case scenario, then obviously it's going to do very well in the mid to best case scenario. So I definitely think that being conservative with your figures will help you succeed in property investment. Number 7 was about telling people what you're looking for. Now, obviously I think that telling people what you're looking for is extremely important. So say if you're looking for a builder, if you're looking for a joiner, plumber, block of flats, a flip, a buy-to-let, a HMO, anything like that, then what people might do is think, oh, my auntie's selling her house, or I know a friend that's got a great builder, he just used him on 3 projects, he was phenomenal. You just don't know where people are going to lead or who they know. So when you're telling people what it is you're looking for, you're essentially leveraging all of their networks, which is such a good thing to do if you want to succeed in property. Number 8 was about educating yourself. Now, I'm a strong believer in that you have to educate yourself throughout your entire journey. I plan on doing it for the decades to come. Educating yourself is extremely important, because property, like every other business, is always evolving, it's always changing, and there's always so much to learn. Now, You can do courses. Now, I'm not talking about one of those courses that's a couple days long. It only costs £1 to go on and it's run by someone that's dodgy, right? And I think you know who I'm on about. What I mean when it comes to courses is one that's, say, CPD certified, because then it's got that extra credibility that it is a good course. And you don't even have to go on courses. You can just ask your network. You can go to networking events and speak to people. Like, what did they learn? What mistakes did they make? Like, how did you get where you are today? Like, why this strategy? What's good about the strategy? What would you say is bad about it? If you ask people about their journey, then that's free education in itself. So I strongly recommend just continuously educating yourself and always remembering that you don't know everything. There's always something else to learn, and just having that thirst for knowledge, just constantly asking questions. Number 9 was avoiding hardship and always knowing what you're doing. I want to make this very clear. Property investment can be extremely difficult. It can be mind-numbing. The days turn into weeks, turn into months, and you want to give up because you're seeing all these people building their portfolios, building businesses, making it look easy. You're going to networking events, surrounded by people that are successful, and then you're sat there thinking, fuck, like I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I've not got a portfolio. I don't even have a builder. Like, you think that you're just a complete failure. And I'm telling you, that happens for a long time. It's not as easy as people make it seem. And if they are making it seem easy, chances are they're selling you a course. I'm just being real and authentic. But what I will say is nothing good comes easy. You have to expect it to be hard. How could you expect to build a portfolio and become, say, a multimillionaire and expect it to be easy? It's obviously going to be hard. That's what makes it worth doing. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right? So when it gets hard, you have to remember that this is what hard feels like. This is it. It wasn't going to be any other way. And when it comes to knowing what you're doing, it's okay to not know what you're doing. That's what it means to grow. That's what it means to actually be doing something that's worthwhile. You are learning. When you pick up a guitar for the first time, you're going to just play it straight away like Slash. Like, you're obviously not going to know what you're doing. You're going to take guitar lessons. You're going to practice. Your fingers are going to hurt, right? You don't compare yourself to the best in the world. What you do is you focus on yourself and you make sure that you're getting better day by day. And it's the exact same with property. Don't compare yourself to someone that has a portfolio of 50, 60, 70 properties. What you need to do is focus on yourself. Did you go to that viewing? Yep, that's a tick. Did you post that bit on social media? Yep, that's a tick. Did you call that estate agent? Did you follow up with that investor? Did you do this? Did you do it? All of these little wins compound. And then before you know it, someone's looking at you, comparing themselves to you. And you're thinking to yourself, I still don't really know what I'm doing. So it's just an endless cycle. So if you don't know what you're doing and it's feeling extremely difficult, then that's okay. It's part of it. Number 10 was about expecting to get rich quick. Now, you can't expect that you're going to get rich in the next 6 to 12, 18, 24 months. I'm telling you right now, property is not the vehicle for that. You've got to stop thinking in days and start thinking in decades, else you're going to be left disappointed. However, the moment you start thinking in decades, you're going to feel a pressure come off your shoulders, because you might think right now, oh, I don't have any properties, or I only have one, or I only have two. But if you remind yourself, oh, this is going to be over decades, then it's very freeing, because you don't have that unrealistic time frame pressuring you. You know that it's going to be a while, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. And the last one was about learning from your mistakes. Now, obviously you've got to learn from your mistakes, and what I do is if I make a mistake, I write down exactly what happened, and then I change a couple things, and then I see if that mistake happens again. If it still happens, maybe I change a couple more things until it starts working. And I also like learning off other people's mistakes. And I've said this before in this video and other videos, that if you go to networking events or ask friends, family, anyone, just about anything that they've done in the past, like what mistakes they've made, and it's obviously a bonus if it's about property. However, you can learn a lot from people's just life experiences, what they've done right, what they've done wrong. And if you apply all of that, let's just say you've got about 5 people's 50 years worth of mistakes, and you apply all of those mistakes, you basically just avoided so much time and money's worth of mistakes. So I cannot stress this enough. Learning from your own and other people's mistakes is extremely important, and it will save you so much time and money. So that was my video on inverse thinking by Charlie Monger. I really enjoyed making it because I always apply this kind of thing, and I really hope you can apply it too. Just remember, think about what not to do and then inverse it, and then that'll be the way to doing it. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe for more.